Okay, today we're going to cover points, lines, planes, and other geometry terms. The most basic figures in geometry are undefined terms, which means they cannot be defined using other figures. The undefined terms are point, line, and plane are the building blocks of geometry. So the first one is a point. A point names a location. It has no size and it's represented by a dot. For example, -2, 3 is located there. In geometry, it looks like this, point P. And we name it by a capital letter. A line, it's a straight path that has no thickness and extends forever. For example, in algebra, y equals 3x minus 4 looks like this. In geometry, a line looks like this. And we name it with a cursive letter, or we use the points that are located on the line. So, how to name it? A lowercase letter, or 2 points. A plane, it's a flat surface that has no thickness and extends forever. For example, a coordinate plane would be a plane. In geometry, it looks more like this. And we name it by using an uppercase letter or 3 points. So, an uppercase letter in the corner, notice this R does not have a point. That's because this is used for the name. These 3 letters have points, so those are actually a location on that plane. State whether each best models a point, a line, or a plane. A taut piece of thread. For example, if you take a piece of thread and you stretch it real tight, what does that represent? It represents a line. What about a knot that's tied in that? Well, that's going to look more like a point because it's an actual knot on the line. And a piece of cloth would represent a plane. Each color dot or pixel on a video game screen would represent a point, hence the word dot. What about the top of your desk? That would be more likely to represent a plane. Now use this figure to answer questions 6 through 9. Name 4 points. Well, there's 5 letters on here, but this letter M, notice that's lowercase and it does not have a dot. Therefore, it's not a point. So my points are A, comma, B, comma, C, comma, and D. Name 3 lines. Well, this line here, remember we named them the other day with the little letters at the end? So I have line M, comma. Then you can also choose 2 letters that are on a line. For example, A and B are points on that line, so this would be line AB. And you use arrows above it, use the symbol above the letters to represent. And then we have line CD, so CD with the symbol above it. The symbol is extremely important, don't forget it. Now if I were to name this plane, There's no uppercase letter, so I can't use those. I have to pick 3 points. So you pick any 3 points that you want. For example, I could say plain ABC, or maybe I wanted to do DAB, or maybe you wanted CDB. Just pick 3. Name a horizontal line. Well, M is the only one that's horizontal, so we're going to say line M. The next set of definitions are actual definitions. So collinear points, this is a group of points. So this is a group of points that line up. Points A, B, and what are collinear? So here's A, here's B. Which point lines up, C or D? Well, C is on the same line, so therefore they line up. Points A, B, and D do not line up, so they're not collinear. Coplanar points are a group of points, so they are a group of points that lie in the same plane. Oops, that lie in the same plane. For example, points A, B, C, so here's A, here's B, here's C. D is the only other point that lies on the same plane. A, B, C, and now pick any of these other points. So A, B, C, and G would not be on the same plane. Or maybe E, or F, or H. To be on the same plane, when you connect them, then they're going to make a plane. A segment has 2 endpoints and is part of a line. So a segment has 2 endpoints and is part of a line. Order does not matter when naming a segment. So the drawing of a segment would look like this. So I could say A, B. So this would be named segment AB, and I would put a segment over the top. A ray has 1 endpoint and extends forever in the other direction. Okay, for example, 1 endpoint extends forever. So I may say this is A, and then I'll have to put a point here, B. This would be named ray AB. What if I had this one here? I could call this one CD. This one would be named ray CD. The first letter has to be the end point. Otherwise, you're going in the wrong direction. Opposite rays, if you choose a point on a line, that point determines exactly 2 rays. If you choose a point on a line, that point determines exactly 2 rays For example, if I choose point B, notice I have a ray going this way and a ray going this way. So I would say ray B, you have to use the end, so ray B A and ray B C. Since B is the end that I'm using, then I have to name it going this direction, and I have to name it going this direction. Are points P, T, and M collinear? P, T, and M. Yes or no? No. Why? They do not line up. Are points A, F, and B coplanar? Yes. Why? Because you only need 3 points to make a plane. If you have more than 3, then it matters. So if I had A, B, F, and E, then it would be no. But as long as you have 3 points, they always make a plane, like 2 points, always make a line. Fact. Through any 2 points, there is exactly 1 line. So I would take and I would make 1 line. Fact. If 2 lines intersect, make an X. They intersect at exactly 1 point. So they intersect at exactly 1 point. Fact. If 2 planes intersect, they intersect at exactly 1 line. Notice, where these 2 intersect, there's a line that goes through here like this. Just like if you think about the wall in the room, you've got this wall over here, and then you've got this wall over here. When they intersect at a line. The corner makes a line in the room. This is the end of the notes for today. You already have the next set. That video will be the next one that you'll watch. See you next class.